special of Last Bell Boxing. We're going to go through the DAZN card that's just happened with Katie Taylor, as well as a few other bits and bobs. And we're also going to talk about the show that we attended last night in Doncaster. Joined by Ander. Good evening, Ander.
Evening, pal.
So what we'll do first, we'll talk about last night's show in Doncaster and then move on to the DAZN card. So tell me your thoughts regarding the show last night.
I thought it was a very polished show, mate. I didn't really know what to expect. I've heard a lot about GBM Sports having some financial clout, so I didn't really know what to expect on production and things like that. But it was outstanding. We know we went there because we know a couple of the fighters pretty well that were on the card, as we'll get onto in a minute. And they were saying that they were asked to do some pre-fight video that was shown out on big screens. Each of them had their own little segment before each of them walked out, which I thought was really classy. There's clearly some money there. And I think GBM have got some legs, mate.
Yeah,
I think they might be going places.
I mean, Izzy Asif, the promoter behind GBM Sports, and it was very impressive last night. And you had kind of who's who with Yorkshire boxing, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a lot of faces at ringside, a lot of faces in the back, all showing really positive support. Spencer Oliver doing commentary, which I believe went out live on YouTube. Really good, mate. Really good. We were looked after really well. Obviously, we were there in the media section. We were looked after really well. Really positive. Really good. I'm looking forward to going back to the next one.
And obviously, we got quite a lot of footage that will be dropping on the channel tomorrow. So we got a Johnny Nelson interview. We got a Nicola Oatwell interview. We've got a character by the name of Ricky Gorman, which I can't wait to drop that interview.
What a bloke.
Nathan Gorman's brother.
What a bloke, mate. What a man.
So all I'd say is keep your eyes peeled on the channel because they'll all be dropping tomorrow. So Andy, let's get on to the DAZN now.
Hold on. And another character by the name of Super Stevie Levy as well.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting interview as well, yeah.
She was great. Lots of fun. They're all dropping, like Carl said, they're all dropping tomorrow on the channel. If you haven't already subscribed and hit the notification, do so, and you'll get everything. We've also got some real big interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks. So please, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification, and you'll get the comment. You'll get the interviews as they drop. So moving on to tonight's DAZN card. It's fell a little bit flat for me because the fights finished quicker than I expected some of them to be honest with you. But you can't really put that down to anything other than just what it is. So we'll crack on with we'll take it as the fights went off, mate. So Gary Cully,
very impressive.
Oh, wow. I mean, he talks a good game. And I think I might have questioned whether he needed to back it up or not on Thursday's show, and he clearly did. He's a talent, mate. He's very, very big at the weight.
He is.
He's very big at lightweight. He's
a very good finisher.
Yeah, he's got big levers, decent footwork. I just hope they don't push him too quickly. There's a lot of hype around him now. And sometimes these quick knockouts can blow a fighter up a little bit too much too quickly. That might not be the case with him. He might walk through the next level just the same. I'd like to see a couple more fights around this level first for him though, before they move him on. I don't want him to be in a position where, because you see it often, where they push a fighter too quickly because he looks outstanding, and then he comes up to the next level, and he's in a real tough fight, and it takes a lot out of him as a fighter.
But there is other occasions where Eddie does take him really slowly as well, Under. So
Too slowly, yeah, too slowly, mate. Yes, absolutely agree. There's been a lot of them, and a very famous one that you point out quite regular on the show, might add. Yeah, I mean, what makes me laugh is the shot that knocked the lad out tonight. Belmadi, the shot that knocked him out tonight, he's used and knocked out his last 3 opponents with the same shot. A fighter's not watching his highlight reel or something, or is it that he just sets it up? Is he just that good?
Or they're not good enough to get out of the way?
Or they're not, yeah.
Magnitude of things.
Absolutely, but by all accounts, from what I'm seeing, mate, he looks absolutely outstanding. It's going to be interesting to see where Matchroom take him, because that was his first show, wasn't it?
First one on Matchroom, yeah.
Right. Yes, it'd be interesting to see where he goes from here, mate. I think they'll push him quickly. I think you'll see him in with Maxi Hughes within a year. Might be 2-3 fights time.
Good fight.
Yeah, outstanding. Easy to make as well.
Yeah.
Easy to make fight, both being his own fighters. So, outstanding. Okay. Moving on to who was next on the bill? Ellie Scotney against Mary Romero.
Some strange scoring in this one.
Ridiculous, mate. Pointed out on social media by Barry McGuigan as well. He's not scared to call out an official win.
I saw you licking his arse again on Twitter.
It wasn't licking his arse, mate. I was agreeing with him because he was right. There's a big difference.
We love you, Barry, by the way.
I do. You're a legend, mate.
You can tell.
I don't care. He's a legend. He's a legend.
You can tell.
He's a legend, mate. And one of the very few promoter stroke managers that are not scared to say it how it is, no matter what feathers he ruffles. So carry on doing what you're doing, Barry. Don't listen to him. Anyway, back to where we were. And as I was just about to say,
you have your pom-poms out in a minute.
Back to where we were, and I was just about to say, Mr. McGuigan, you were right. Anyway, regardless of what Cole thinks, that was a very, very wide points win. Easy night's work. I don't think Ellie Scotney got out of second gear. She's got so much more to show than that, mate. Post-fight reaction from Shane McGuigan was that he thinks she's ready for a world title next. Maybe that's just pushing it 1 fight or 2 fights too soon. But she's definitely class, mate.
It's that old adage show in the female game at the minute where there's not a lot of depth, is there? So,
She's much too good for this level, though.
It could well be but then the next level probably is a world title shot.
Yeah, but then you've got the problem then you've got is that once she's at that level, she has to stay at that level. So she'll end up, taking the unification fights, and they might be with fighters that I haven't seen who's the champions in this division. I apologise, but maybe they're with fighters with a lot more experience, and that's where it becomes difficult for her. Someone with a lot of ring craft, someone that's seen it and done it and got the tricks and all that.
I don't think there's that middle ground in the female fight.
No, there isn't. There isn't. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Do you keep holding her back? Jamaica defend the European title against fighters that she's going to beat easily, or do you believe in her talent and push her on? Clearly, Shane McGuigan believes in what she's doing, and he thinks she's ready for a world title. So let's just see what Eddie Hearn does for her. But yeah, she's quality, mate, without a doubt, and working very well in that McGuigan gym. Moving on to Well, I mean, I don't really know what to say. We've said everything we possibly can about Johnny Fisher.
Yeah.
This guy is one of the most humble blokes in boxing. He could have sold that arena right himself, more than likely. I think he sold 2,000 of the tickets. I don't know what it held tonight. They didn't have the full arena open. I don't know what it held.
But the atmosphere, there was clearly a lot of fans there for him, wasn't there?
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, mate. I mean, they had.
I thought it was a little bit raw. I thought it was a little bit raw in places.
He is, but mate,
done well.
He was 6-0 before this fight tonight.
Took Adelaide 4 rounds to get him out, didn't it?
He's a novice, really. He's a novice with no amateur background. The guy's
all he can do at this stage of his career is compare against other fighters, and like I said,
other fighters that are around about the same level.
Took Adelaide 4 rounds. So
yeah. I think he's showing lots of improvement. He got a bit excited tonight because he knew he'd got that guy hurt very early, and he lost his shape. He'll get told off in the gym. He'll get told off for doing that. Even though it was a knockout finish, he'll get told off for the way he jumped on the guy and lost his shape. Got caught with a couple of shots because of it.
Yeah.
Lost a load of energy because of it. If that guy had been a bit more durable and lasted out that round, you might have been seeing a bit of a different fight after that round, because he did expel a lot of energy when throwing shots he didn't really need to throw.
But that, like I said, that will come with experience. That will come with the finishing touch will come with experience, where you won't jump in because it'd have been there and done it. You can't learn that in the gym, can you? You can only learn that under the lights. So props to Johnny Fisher. I thought he did well. Just a comment in the side. So that guy says, I heard a few calls for Babic versus Fisher. I'd love Babic to jump in with Fisher, but I understand that Babic's going to fight for the Bridgerweight title.
I don't think I'm not a massive fan of Babic, and I know you're not. That's not the right fight for Johnny Fisher. Babic is one of these fighters that he'll be giving away way too much. If Fisher lands on him, it's good night. It's good night. But Babic is a nightmare of a fighter for anybody with lack of experience, because he just puts it on you.
Babic.
I know, but hear me out a minute, mate. Babic puts it on you, and if you haven't got the ring craft because you don't have the ring experience, to negate somebody that's a forward pressure fighter, it's a hard night's work, mate, to get someone like that off you. I mean, look at Kiko Martinez. We'll come on to it, but look at Kiko Martinez tonight, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Babic ain't big enough.
Maybe not, but Johnny Fisher's still raw. Remember,
you won't be able to stay on. You won't be able to walk Fisher down.
I don't know, mate. I'm not. All I'm saying is he's raw, and he doesn't have the experience and doesn't have the ring craft. It would end up being a closer fight than it needs to be a couple of fights down the line.
I even think Fisher would force him back because he's just far too big.
Nah, I'm not convinced of that.
He won't keep. It'd just get his head bottled off. Kept walking forward.
I'm not 100% sure on that one, mate. But that's nothing against Fisher at all. In a few fights' time, I'd be saying the same as you. But at the minute, he is still raw. He doesn't use the ring as well as he should. This is obviously all going to come in time. None of what I'm saying is a negative against Johnny Fisher one little bit. He's still learning. I just think taking a fight like that against a Babic, I just feel it's at the wrong time because he hasn't learned his craft properly yet.
I mean, it won't happen anyway because Earn's protecting Babic. You know, he's at the minute it'll go down the bridge.
And Fisher, he's protecting Fisher as well. Let's not forget.
But Fisher would knock him out with him 3.
Maybe.
Too big.
Okay. What would you do then with Johnny Fisher next? Who would you go in with?
I'd get him a tough European next.
Or would you try and make the Adelaide fight?
No, that can build, can't it? I think both of them are going to have It's too early for them both. I'd get him a tough jawball European who's going to give him some rounds.
Nick Webb?
Nick Webb's a sharp, but I'd probably go and get a like the Eastern European tough who you guaranteed to get some rounds out of.
Yeah, that's not a bad shot, mate.
That's where I'd take him.
Okay. Moving on to a fight that we all thought was going to be fight of the night. I thought Jordan Gill was going to win the fight.
Just give me 1 minute, Andy. That guy's asked, do you think a loss would affect Fisher's fan base? I don't think so. I think they follow him because he's a likeable local lad.
From what I understand, they're all his friends. They're not just fans; they're all his friends. These are it's like a community. That I don't know, mate. I don't think 1 or 2 losses would affect his fan base. I think he's going to grow and grow and grow. It's going to be
right. He's entertaining, isn't it? It's not like he's a boring fighter.
He's entertaining, and he's very, very likable, mate. He's very, very likable. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I ought to get him on this channel and swap him for you.
Easy.
Likeability.
That's a bit harsh this time of night.
Saying how it is. So, go on, next fight then.
Shocking.
Good evening between the ropes, by the way. Good evening.
Jordan Gill, Kiko Martinez.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what to say about this, mate. I'm gutted for Jordan Gill.
Let me just have my little rant before you go into your thing. I thought it was a disgrace that he started pointing at Lee Wood while Jordan Gill was still being looked after. So I tweeted that as well. Lee would have knocked him out anyway. So,
overexcitement, I think, mate.
So yeah, give us your breakdown, and it obviously still carries power, doesn't it?
Crazy power, mate. And if this is gonna ruffle a few feathers, but if he hadn't have taken his gloves off, I'd be wondering whether his gloves were loaded because of how much damage he'd done to Jordan Gill's face.
Is it a case that Jordan Gill's only European level?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a case of Jordan Gill was boxing really well. Kiko Martinez punches hard, mate. I mean, let's not forget, he broke Warrington's jaw.
Yeah.
He punches really hard. Some of them shots that put Jordan Gill down didn't look like they were heavy shots. Straight rights, a couple of uppercuts that seem to have a lot behind them, but he clearly punches very hard. I just don't think Jordan Gill could keep him off.
No.
And Jordan Gill's a skilled boxer, by the way. And when he was having success in some of those earlier rounds, he was looking great. And I thought,
has he got any pop in his shots?
Not enough, because obviously he couldn't keep him off. That was the one thing that did it. He didn't get Martinez's respect, did he? He didn't land anything big. He didn't get Martinez's respect. So because of that,
you're in for a long night, aren't you?
Martinez just kept walking forward. I mean, let's have it right. He's a tough fighter, isn't he? You don't last as long as Martinez has at top level without being like that. But he's making a very big mistake calling out Lee Wood because Lee Wood does have pop. And it walks onto him for me.
And here we go. I'm going to be accused of being biased here, and no doubt I'll get shit on Twitter like I always do. But I do believe Lee would take him out quite early as well.
Yeah, he will. He will.
You don't have to go looking for him, do you? You'd have to go looking for him.
He walks onto one, mate. He walks onto one and gets knocked clean out by Lee Wood.
But Lee Wood's got other things to be going along with anyway, so that ain't
that fight won't happen because Eddie Hearn is the barometer when it comes to this. When it was put to him, when Kiko said he wants Lee Wood, and then they went to Eddie Hearn didn't mention Lee Wood's name.
Yeah.
he mentioned Warrington and he mentioned Lara. That was it.
Well, that was an IBF eliminator, wasn't it? So he's going to get.
Yeah, but who wants? Come on, do you really want to see Martinez Warrington again?
I'm just saying what it puts him in line for.
I know it puts him in line for it, and it'll probably happen, but no one wants to see that, do they?
Not me.
Bit biased, that Carl.
It happens. You'll walk onto them.
I don't care if people. I don't care if people think that we're biased on this show. At the end of the day, we've not been wrong about Leigh Wood so far.
It could work out, couldn't it? Because obviously, the likelihood is that Wood will fight Warrington, won't it? After Santa Cruz, I'd imagine.
See, Wood's got the bit between his teeth now with Lara.
I think that's.
I know. It makes sense, and I think he should fight Santa Cruz next, and it probably will happen next. I'm not convinced that after what Lara said about Leigh Wood, I'm not convinced Leigh Wood will let that lie.
Let me pick a few of these comments up. So between the ropes says Warrington is about to take on a mandatory 2, so Kiko would have to wait. Yep, correct. They go on to say Wood will have fought, and I think beat Warrington by them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he'll fight Kiko. To be honest.
No, I think Eddie Earn will put Kiko in with Lara. And then that'll be the end of Kiko, I'm afraid. Because again, you don't go looking for him and what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Get rid of that fool. Again, he's going to walk onto one with Lara as well. I see that happening, mate. I think Eddie Earn is trying to build a bit of a narrative with Lara. I think he's trying to.
Mm-hmm.
He already is a monster that's avoided. I think he's trying to make him some gigantic monster, so that when he does, finally get in with Wood, it's huge. Because it will happen at some point. It will happen at some point.
Next summer's a target date, isn't it? Next summer.
Yeah.
Which works. If they both win, it works.
Yeah, that's possible. Boxing historian, just someone in the sidebar that wants absolutely nothing to do with boxing and was just putting some stupid comments. But don't worry about it, pal. Any more to say on the Jordan Gill situation? What do you think happens with Jordan from here? Where does he go?
Well, he's got to rebuild, isn't it?
It's a heavy loss as well, because he took some real punishment in them 4 rounds.
He's obviously a very skilled fighter, but he might fall into that category where he's a skilled fighter who can't keep fighters off because he's got no pop.
Maybe, mate. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that after the knockout in his last fight, would you? With two burst eardrums.
Yeah,
There's one thing I'll say about Jordan Gill, mate. The guy's got heart and he's got courage. Even though he was taking them big shots tonight, he was getting up. And he was doing that to try and say to Martinez, "You're not really hurting me." He clearly was. But he was getting up straight away. Not taking a couple of seconds, but getting up straight away to try and dishearten Martinez a little bit. And it didn't work, but I think that was what he was trying to do. So you can't knock him for bravery.
No. There's just levels to the game, isn't there? To be brutal. So let's move on to Katie Taylor.
What's your thoughts on the fight?
I thought it was a very good performance by Katie Taylor. It was a run-of-the-mill performance, which might be a bit harsh, but she did what she needed to do. She got involved a little bit too much at times for me, traded a little bit too much. But yeah, I agree with the comments on the side. It's got to be Croke Park next, hasn't it? There hasn't been a fight there since Muhammad Ali. She's never fought pro in Ireland, so she deserves that moment, doesn't she? She's done everything else. So yeah, it all points to Croke Park for me.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. on a performance tonight, I thought it took her a few rounds to get warmed up. I thought she struggled a bit early on.
I think struggle is a strong word. I thought she
No,
did.
I think she looked old in the first couple of rounds, mate. This girl was durable. She come to fight. But by the sixth or seventh round, Katie Taylor was in a stride. She's definitely lost a step, mate. She's not the fighter she was of even 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Still class though.
Yeah. But she doesn't throw anywhere near the volume of punches she did. She gets hit far more than she used to. It's leveling the playing field a little bit.
I'll give you my version why I think that is. It might not be the fact that she's on the slide. It might be just that female boxing is getting better.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe a bit of both, mate. But she's definitely lost a step. She's not as fast as she was. She doesn't throw the volume of punches that she used to, because I don't think she can. I don't think she does 10 rounds now, throwing those volume of punches that she did earlier on, 3 or 4 years ago. So she's had to change her style slightly. She's sitting down on shots more and throwing 1-2s rather than throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations on a regular basis. She still throws them at times in the fight, and she's staying in the pocket much longer than she used to as well.
Couple of comments in the side. Boxing historian says these 2-minute rounds just disappear. 3 minutes soon. Does anyone think? Yeah. If we talk about equality as well, it needs to reach 3-minute rounds. Between the votes say Fort Taylor won every round, didn't even sit down between rounds, comfortable performance. I've got to say I agree.
I agree with that. I agree with that. She did win every round, but Katie Taylor of a few years ago would not only have won every round, she'd have stopped her, and she'd have looked $1 million doing it. I just don't. I think she's a step behind the fighter she was of a few years ago. That's all I'm saying. She's still head and shoulders above just about everybody else. I think it's a difficult fight against Serrano in the rematch. I really do. I think Serrano's a fresher fighter, even though she's had a massive career as well. I think she's a fresher fighter. We'll see.
I think Katie Taylor's a bit too big, in my opinion.
If that had been 12 rounds, mate. Sorry, if that had been or even 3-minute rounds, that fight would have gone to Serrano. She might have even stopped Katie Taylor, because Katie Taylor was done at the end of that fight.
So boxing historian says Katie would have been glad of the easier fight tonight after that last fight. Between the ropes, say, can see where Andy is coming from. She's slowing down, but ring IQ makes her superior to most. Yeah.
I agree between the ropes. You're right. It does. It does, and she's just she's always been head and shoulders above 99% of the fighters. I mean, she cruised like you just said. She kind of cruised tonight. Even though this girl came in and was durable, she won every round, like you said, and she'll do that against most. So it'd be interesting to see if she ended up stepping in the ring with somebody that she's fought in the past, that gave her a really close fight. McCaskill, or so. If McCaskill came back down and that'd be a really, really different fight this time. Someone like that.
She's not talking retiring, is she? She's talking.
No, she's not. She's not. But if that Croke Park fight is next, that has to be her last fight.
You'd have thought so.
Because where did she go from that? How did she get up for anything after that?
Yeah. So what we'll do now is, Andy, I'm going to go through Frank Warren's top 5 heavyweights that is listed.
All right, okay.
So I'm going to run through everyone in the sidebar. If any other topics you want covered in the sidebar, put them in there and we'll come on to them after this. So I'm going to run through Frank Warren's 5 top heavyweights at the minute. So he's listed. Tyson Fury is 1. Alexander Usyk is 2. Deontay Wilder at 3, Joe Joyce at 4, and Daniel Dubois at 5. Interesting there, no AJ. So
okay. There's an argument for the first 3 being that I've had my say about Deontay Wilder. I don't think he's top 3. Joe Joyce has proved himself to be up there, so there's an argument for him being up there in that 3rd spot right now, or for Daniel Dubois. Come on. Did you see that last fight?
he hasn't proved shit, has he?
No. I don't want to be disrespectful because he can only fight who he's put in with and who's in front of him, but he isn't a top 5 in the top 5 heavyweights in the world at the minute, is it? It annoys me because obviously that's a promoter pushing his fighters. I don't really see why he's done that. Yeah. At the minute, I mean, Dubois is a young man learning his trade. He got beat early, and now he's trying to rebuild. You can't. It's not his fault. He got put in for a WBA regular title against someone that shouldn't have fought for it in the first place. But it is what it is. Now he's a champion. He's going to have to defend against people that are probably going to beat it.
Yeah. A couple of comments in the sidebar. So Between the Ropes says thoughts on Matchroom this year, gents, particularly second half of the year with the Eubank Jr. Ben saga. We'll part that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second.
Between the Ropes says ridiculous top 5 from Uncle Frank. Dubois isn't top 10. Boxing Historian said bit of a different subject, lads, but I like George Warren. Don't know what it is about him, but there's something I'm liking about the way he is. He has the dad's shoulder roll and talk, but he seemed more genuine. Yeah, I've noticed that, Boxing Historian. Just give me a minute, fella. Between the Ropes says, music to my ears, Dubois beating nobody. And yeah, I've got that, Boxing Historian. So, good question that Between the Ropes about Matchroom. I don't think they'll deem this year as a particular success. I know they've had the Canelos, but I think their budget's been cut significantly by DAZN. And in terms of the North American market, I'd argue Golden Boy are gaining some ground on them. Seems a lot of DAZN shows in North America now are Golden Boy.
And there's one going on later on tonight, by the way.
There is. So, yeah, I think Eddie, obviously he's gone out into new markets. He's doing Australia now. But in terms of his stable, I'll throw it back to you. You know, he's losing fighters. Liam Smith to this world. I'll throw it back. Do you think his stable's stronger now than it was this time last year? And I put that question to you, Andy.
No, I don't. I don't, and I think he's losing focus. The fact that he's lost 3 really big purse bids to Frank Warren in recent times as well tells you there's a big shift.
And the AJ debacle where he's signed an exclusive deal with DAZN and then he's not on their platform.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a PR disaster. £100 million contract, as well as all the other bits and bobs that are added onto that, and then he goes and fights on. he goes and fights on a different network and gets beat. Yeah, I think next year might be even worse for him because they've got to somehow scrape this money back.
Yeah, well, they paid top dollar to AJ and his stock's fallen.
Yeah.
So
and it's not going to rise because they're going to put him in. I mean, there's arguably he'll go in against Dillian White, but they're going to put him in with a couple of fighters he's not going to lose to. And the public aren't stupid, mate. The public will know that. And because of that, you won't get massive pay-per-view figures. Not only that, let's not forget, he was building Conor Benn to be his next massive pay-per-view star. And look where that's ended up. I don't think you'll see Conor Benn fight on DAZN anytime soon in the UK.
So between the ropes, there's definitely been a rough year. Stable isn't. Love it when that happens. Stable isn't as strong as last year. I like the Gary Cully signing. Love the Pat McCormack and Mark Dickinson. That gives a clue who that might be from between the ropes. Loves the Pat McCormack and Mark Dickinson signings, but much more work to do on that side of things. That guy says AJ plus Golovkin kind of owned his own. I'll say Canelo as well.
Yeah.
Between the ropes says first quarter was excellent, I thought, but since April, Frank and Boxer have kicked on and gained, certainly in the UK, obviously. Boxing historian must think TV times because he's asking what time do we expect Loma lads? The usual 4 a.m. Answers on the postcard, boxing historian.
There's also a great fight going on DAZN later on. Jojo Diaz against Zepeda from is it California?
No. I can't remember which state it is, but it's not California.
Is it not? Okay.
And it's Josh from Between the Roads. Good evening, Josh. So coming on to George Warren then. So I think George Warren may well be the go-between between Queensbury and Matchroom. He's obviously done a lot of work recently with the AJ debacle. But by all accounts, he was pivotal in the Zack Ryder versus Parker fight. So it can only bode well. By all accounts, Frank Smith gets on well with Warren, George Warren. So let's hope so, eh? Because the more them two promotional companies talk, the bigger fights we're going to get. So, there's been some very complimentary comments made about each of them. So they seem to be in a good place at the minute. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah. It can't be any worse than Daddy Warren and Bossman Earn, because they never talk between each other at all. So any communication between the two promotions is good going forward, because there's massive fights between them two promotions that have been missed out over the years, and there's still massive ones now, especially in the light heavyweight division. Between the ropes, just in the sidebar, says it's Vegas. I'm sure he must be talking about Jojo Diaz and Zepeda. What's your thoughts on that, by the way, between the ropes? It's a great fight. It's a great fight. And also I'll shout out to Golden Boy on this, because it's two of their bigger fighters and they've not been afraid to put them in against each other.
Actually, I don't like doing this. I don't like doing it. But actually, it's not Vegas.
Oh, where is it?
It's actually San Diego.
Yeah. Okay.
So, between the ropes says, hopefully now Ryder and Parker has been made, it opens the floodgates. Fully agree.
Yeah.
Because we'd love to see people like Anthony Yard versus Callum Smith, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. I've got a feeling that won't happen, though, even if they are best mates, because they both sat in mandatory spots, and I think they both, unless one of them becomes the champion. Yard's got the first shot at Beterbiev, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he's going to sit on his hands.
If he becomes champion, then he'll have to defend. He'll have to defend against Callum Smith anyway. But it'll make it easier on negotiations, I would say.
There's a lot of loving for Beterbiev, but I think Yard will beat him.
I think he's past it, mate. I think he's over the hill. He's always going to have the big shot. That's the last thing that goes is someone's power, as you've seen with Kiko Martinez. But he is aging, and it's shown in his last few fights.
There was nonsense spoke early on in the year, though, wasn't there, by a lot of people who were telling me that Beterbiev would beat Bivol, and I was having none of it.
Yeah, you've been proved to be right on that one, mate. That's another great fight coming up, by the way.
Next week, yeah. Quality.
Against Ramirez. We'll talk about that on next week's show, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Obviously, just jumping back onto promotions for 1 minute. Obviously, I did a Johnny Nelson interview last night in Doncaster, and he actually gives his verdicts on the promotional situation at the minute. So make sure you check it out. It drops tomorrow. Shameless plug there. Boxing Historian says, what age is Beterbiev now? Isn't he like 38?
Yeah, he's knocking on. He gets beat. If you don't get beat from Yard, he definitely gets beat by Callum Smith. Absolutely. Callum Smith's an animal at 175. Animal. I think he's the only one that that pushes.
Yeah, it makes me smile because he's 37, but they call him a Canadian Russian now because he resides in Canada. Them Canadians.
Do you mean the Canadians call him a Canadian Russian?
Well, you know, we've had the Lennox Lewis debacle, haven't we? So that guy, Carl, what's your Twitter, pal? My Twitter is, I'll drop it in the chat bar. No heavy breathing phone calls at night, though, please. Beterbiev, so between the votes, Beterbiev is older but still has plenty in the tank, I think. Would love to see him with Bivol, but doubtful we'll get to see it. It's a fair comment.
Yeah, I think Beterbiev gets beat before there's any chance that fight could get made against Bivol. There will be an undisputed fight though, and I think it might be next year. I think you might find that second part of next year, November, December time. Let's
throw another Lee Wood question out there because it causes some controversy. And does it in the sidebar? Do you think Lee Wood beats Mauricio Lara? Interesting to see.
I'm going to predict that most of them are going to say no.
Let's have a look.
Lara's an handful for anybody, mate.
Yeah, he is. Just that Lee was not particularly happy with the comments that he made post-fight last week.
He's not at all. And Lee Wood, as you will all know, because he doesn't badmouth anybody, he doesn't call out anybody. He's fuming. For Lee Wood to come out and make comments about wanting Lara because of his what he said, Lee was fuming. It's disrespectful.
So Boxing Historian said Lara is very rough with his head. That's perfect for Wood and his power to catch that head coming in. Between the ropes says Wood beats Lara for me. I don't really get that last bit, Josh. I mean, Josh, feel free to jump on if you want to, fella. And then that guy says Wood versus Lara is on fire. It is a quality fight because as much as we're Lee Wood fans, you don't know, do you?
It's one of them, mate. It's one of them that it's kind of who lands.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as that. It's not simple as that, but they've both got devastating knockout power. And if somebody connects cleanly, it could be good night for either fighter. And they both know that.
Yeah. So Josh was saying he's a man in form. Yeah, good point, Andy. They both have power.
I think Lee Wood. I think Lee Wood's the better of the two boxers. If I'm honest, I think Lee Wood's boxing ability is underrated. Always has been, and I think he can set his shots up better than Lara. If I'm being honest, Lara
I do
is
think there's a little bit of hype around Lara though, because he beat Josh Warrington. That wasn't the best version of Josh Warrington that he beat, was it?
no, but he does have devastating power, Carl, and if he
No,
catches somebody,
devastating's a bit strong.
no, it's not.
It
No,
is. It is.
It's not. It's not, mate. It's not.
It is.
He has devastating power, and if he catches somebody that allows him to catch him, then the fight's done. Exactly what I mean. You're right about Warrington. Warrington was stood in front of him. He was there to be it.
To use the word devastating power is like Deontay Wilder. He ain't no Deontay Wilder that way.
Is the Deontay Wilder of this division? No. But Lee Wood carries that power as well, mate, in my opinion. But what I'm trying to say is Lee Wood is better at setting them shots up.
So between the ropes, how do you guys see Lara versus Conlan? Now that is an intriguing fight because Conlan wouldn't be there to be it, would he?
No, he wouldn't.
I honestly think Conlan's going to win a world title.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
I agree with that.
Conlan's all wrong for Lara. All wrong for him. It's whether Lara's good enough to do what Lee Wood did.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Like I say, Lee Wood's better all-round fighter. His ring craft's better. He knew what to do to slow Conlan down in that fight. I mean, that knockdown. We've been through this a million more times, but that knockdown was very, very heavy because Lee Wood didn't see it coming, and it took him a good 4 rounds, Carl, before he even cleared his head. So for him to come back the way he did in that fight proves how good his ring craft is, and his boxing brain to be able to know that he had to slow Conlan down enough to be able to get his shots off.
That's another great shot as well. Conlan versus Warrington. It's another good fight.
Again, Conlan beats Warrington now.
I think Conlan beats Warrington.
Warrington of a few years ago, I might be saying differently, but I think Conlan is going to prove. Well, he's proved it in the Lee Wood fight already, but he's going to prove he's right up there, world level. Absolutely, he definitely. And I agree with you, Cole. He definitely wins the world title.
So Boxing Story says Lara could knock Conlan out if he gets caught flush. Anyone can get knocked out if you get caught flush. As we've seen him out to sleep in Wood fight. However, Lara can't box like Wood. Boxing Story says Conlan versus Warrington would be 2 boxing technical fighters. Warrington's not a technical fighter.
Warrington's a warrior. And that's the problem because
Between the ropes says, sadly, I think we get Wood versus Warrington next year, and that's the end for Warrington at top level. Why is that sad? It'll be a payday for Warrington. His biggest payday, I'd argue.
I think that fight needs to happen. It needs to happen for boxing fans in the UK. It's just a shame that Warrington is over the hill slightly. He is over the hill slightly.
The thing with Warrington, he's been to the well too many times.
Because of his style of fighting.
Yeah, he can't keep going to the well. And that'll come to Lee Wood within time as well. His fighting style. But Lee Wood's a little bit fresher because obviously he's not had many wars, let's be honest.
And he's a cuter boxer, Lee Wood. He's
got that Ingle style a little bit about him.
He stays out of trouble a little bit more than Warrington. Warrington just wants to have a war. And he is tougher, and he has been tougher than anybody else he's been in with, apart from
Boxing Story says, how is Warrington not a boxer? He isn't a puncher. If that's what I mean, he is a boxer, simple and fat. I wouldn't class Warrington as a boxer. I think of a boxer as using a sweet sign, someone like Devin Haney. Not a Warrington gets punched. He gets hit too much.
Warrington wants to stand and trade, and he out toughs his opponents. He out punches and he out toughs his opponents. breaks the hearts, and then overruns them in a fight. That's what
I've not been
Warrington
impressed
does.
with Warrington for a good 18 months now. I think his time's up. So between the ropes says massive payday and I want the fight, but Wood wins conclusively. So end for Warrington. I like Warrington, so it'd be sad to see him finish. Boxing Historian's going in again, so I suggest you watch his fights from the start to now. He's a very skilled boxer. Not having it.
Earlier on in his career, Boxing Historian, you're probably right.
And he's nowhere. Jesus, Boxing Historian got his Leeds United underpants on. He's nowhere near over the hill. Are you telling me he's not on the slide? I would suggest you go back and watch his last few fights and then compare him to the beginning of his career, and that will show you that he's on the slide.
He's not the same fighter, Boxing Historian. His punch durability just isn't there.
Lava took his soul.
I mean, he made for
Hold on a minute. So Josh is on the fence a little bit. So he's gave an Andy answer here. So he says, I think Warrington's shown he can box, but he does like a war. That's an Andy answer. So Boxing Historian said, just my opinion, what's with the crap sarcasm, mate?
Oh, come on, behave yourself. We're having a laugh, mate. It's called banter.
Come on, you're bigger in that, Boxing Historian. What am I not allowed to disagree with what you're saying then? He's definitely on the slide. Definitely.
He hasn't got the ability to take a shot like he used to. He used to walk through fighters.
So Josh, between the ropes, says he's not over the hill though. He had to dig in against Kiko. The reason why I think he's over the hill because his performance levels are nowhere near they were 2 or 3 years ago.
No, they're not.
And he's probably getting tagged a lot more now, and he would get beat by fighters that wouldn't have laced his boots 2 or 3 years ago. That's the point.
His intensity isn't the same. His intensity is not the same. He can't fight at the pace that he used to fight at. That just comes with age. It comes with age, and it comes with having too many wars.
Too many miles on the clock. Too many miles on the clock. I think we better move on from Josh Warrington because we're upsetting people. But no, Boxing Historian, no worries, fella. I want having a go. That guy says Warrington not rematching Kid Galahad was an energy shift for me. Between the ropes says not on the fence, it's just true. With that Leeds army behind him, it encourages a war which sometimes can be detrimental. Not sure about that one either, because if every boxer listened to the crowd, every fight would be a war, wouldn't it? I don't think you don't go into a war just to satisfy the Leeds, what do you call it, Leeds army. No, not for me.
I don't think anybody, just going back to that guy, I don't think anybody wanted to see the rematch with Kid Galahad because it was a shocker.
Yeah, if you struggle to get sleep at night, either listen to Andy on a podcast or put that fight on.
I mean, to be fair, Kid Galahad probably won that fight.
I thought he did,
but it was boring. And Kid Galahad, it's been proved more recently, he's a very dirty fighter, dark arts specialist. Why would you want to go back in again against that?
I'll let you take that one from Boxing Story. That was funny.
Oh, he's underneath the chair, chewing on the table leg, mate. I'm keeping him quiet tonight. I'm letting him eat my table leg. So if I fall over in a minute, you know why?
Yeah, that guy, the Leeds army, laughing emoji. It'll be interesting when that fight does happen next summer, because I think it will. It'll be interesting to see where it lands. Nottingham or Leeds. It'll be very interesting.
We ought to have the show at midnight every night. My dog's a bit tired now. He's all barked out. So
between the ropes says Warrington has that about him anyway. The fans then encourage him. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure a professional fighter goes into the ring and, you know, I know they feed off the energy of the crowd, but I don't think it influences the tactics. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Or everyone would be windmilling, wouldn't they, like Wilder?
Yeah. Anything else, guys, in the sidebar? Any other fights? Anything else you want to cover while we're still on? I mean, I'm happy to stay on as long as you want tonight, as long as my dog stays quiet. Just drop some thoughts in the sidebar, and we'll go through stuff. Not a problem. So, Carl, while they're doing that, Jojo Diaz Zepeda.
Good fight, isn't it?
Brilliant, mate. What's your thoughts? How do you think it goes?
I think Jojo Diaz will beat him. I don't sit on fences. I think Jojo Diaz is a quality actor, isn't it? So, yeah, I just think he'll have too much for him. I'm not going to go in, you know, I just think Jojo Diaz will win. I think he'll stop him. And here's Cedric. Cedric, jump on if you want to.
Hey, Cedric, how are you, pal?
We've been talking about Canadian boxing tonight, Cedric. You know that Canadian, Better BF.
Boxing historian.
I've been boxing historians, in fact, fascinated with your dog.
Yeah, I think he is. My dog's too much for any cheer leg, mate. No cheer legs lasting 12 rounds with my dog.
Good evening from the hotbed of boxing, which is Canada. Good evening, Cedric.
Come on, Cedric, jump on. Don't let Cole get away with this. Cedric, we're just talking about Jojo Diaz against Zepeda, which is on a little bit about 3 or 4 hours later tonight. What's your thoughts on that fight, mate? How's it being seen across America? Because I think it's a brilliant fight.
Remember, it's in Canada, not America. We all know it's the same.
Come on,
we all know it's the same thing.
He's still got his ear to the ground. He still knows what's going on.
Well, no, it's the same thing anyway, isn't it?
I didn't say that, by the way, Cedric. But yeah, I think that fight's gone completely under the radar in the UK.
Yeah,
it was hardly even spoke about tonight. They were pushing, for obvious reasons. They were pushing the Bivol fight, Ramirez Bivol. That was on, between every fight as a trailer, which is fine.
So Josh thinks Jojo Diaz points. Josh, I do wish you'd have your own opinion sometimes. Stop following me.
Jojo Diaz is definitely the fighter that's had the better level of opponent. But Zepeda is a little bit unknown. Big hitter. Very hungry.
So who are you going for? And let's have the edited version, because I don't want to be here till 3 a.m.
I've got all night, mate. I think Diaz as well. I think he's just he's just been in the better fights. This might have come a little bit too soon for Zepeda, but you've got to give him the credit for taking the fight. I'm going Diaz. Unfortunately, I've got to agree with you, Cole. I don't like doing that.
So Cedric said he thinks Diaz will win as well. Should be a good fight.
Yeah, it will be a good fight.
And he says, and yeah, Better BF, the adopted Canadian, just like Lennox. Yeah, another fighter.
At least you know, Cedric, unlike some of the people on your channel.
So Josh is now trying to legitimize that he's not following me. In my opinion, when it's true, he is. He said he said it way early in the comments.
Josh.
Said it on our preview the other day too.
Josh, you know Carl by now, mate. Don't fall for his bait.
Josh said it 5 minutes after I'd said it.
Don't fall for it, Josh.
So that guy says, I think Diaz gets dropped. So that guy's following me as well. I'm like the Pied Piper. So Zepeda may as well not turn up tonight, according to his lot.
No, Zepeda's a good fighter, mate. This is his real big come out fight. And a loss isn't going to hurt him either because no one expects him to beat Jojo.
Let's start another debate then while we got Cedric on. Cedric goes on a channel called Talking Fight, and some of their panelists seem to think that North America are about to take over the heavyweight division. Just like to get your guys' thoughts on that because I think it's nonsense. So over to you guys. If talk about Jared Miller, maybe a prospect, but he hasn't fought nobody, has it? So yeah. Because we obviously UK are very strong in the heavyweight division at the minute, aren't we? Let's have it right.
Yeah, I mean, we've got fighters coming through as well, mate, that I think are gonna rule the division for a while. I can't really see it going anywhere else.
No.
Anderson's a good fighter though. He's one that could be in the mix.
But like you said, we've got good young fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, I want a big American. I want the old UK America heavyweight war because we haven't really since Lennox Lewis. We haven't really had it.
No.
You know, it's always been a case of America have had all the top talent, and then now we've got all the top talent, and then there was that shitty part in the middle where two brothers ruled the world for about 10 years.
So Cedric says, yes, I will admit you guys have the better heavyweights right now. That wasn't the question though, Cedric, was it?
Cedric, do you think Jared Anderson will take over the heavyweight division? Is basically what Cole's saying.
I'll answer that. No.
I didn't ask you. Ask Cedric.
Jared Anderson will be in the mix very soon. Does he pick a world title up, Cedric? Come on, let's get splinters out your arse. Does he pick a world title up in his career? By world title, I'm not talking about them watered down version. I'm talking about BC, BA, blah, blah, blah.
He could, I think Jared Anderson could pick the WBA regular up now. And if he did that, if he went down that route, then that puts him in line for a big world title shot as well.
So Cedric thinks he will win a title. So when's he going to fight anyone of a decent level then, Cedric? So that guy, I'm quite a fan of Fury.
Read out his question.
What are your thoughts on Fury? Likeable or an absolute twonk? For Cedric's benefit, twonk. Very similar. You might want to change a few words at the back end of it, Cedric. So there's a lot of loving on here for
be interesting because he ain't winning a world title while Tyson Fury's still around. That's for certain. So that this is all pie in the sky because until Tyson Fury retires, no one's winning anything, are they?
No.
Anderson is still developing, mate. You're absolutely right. It's just going to be interesting to see. The thing for me is though, until he gets in the mix and starts fighting top end European fighters, we don't know how good he actually is.
Yeah, because have you seen his record? You lot need
I mean, yeah. The thing is, though, Carl, you can't put the fighter down for that. It is what it is.
I'm not putting the fighter down, but people need to calm themselves. I say this a lot, don't I? People need to calm themselves down to have been in with someone who can measure him against. Because at the minute,
there's not enough world level talent in the States at heavyweight to compare him against. Unfortunately, I'd like to see him in with a European level European fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he won the NABF title, the North American title, but Gary Cornish could go over there and win that, couldn't he? Let's be honest. Other fighters are available. Fury will have retired another 458 times by the time Anderson is ready.
That's probably about right.
Between the roads, it's only 22, 23. Well,
that's a good point, to be fair.
That's a funny age, isn't it? 22, 23.
You're on one tonight, mate. Are you had some pop tonight?
No, I'm all right. I think
he's got. I mean,
it's a night job.
You go back. No, come on.
It's a night job.
You can't say that
I'll
yet.
put it out there now, and I'll be proved right in another 2 to 3. Depends how long you're giving him to actually jump in with someone decent.
Cole, you can't say that. He's got another 10 years if he wants.
It's a night job.
He's got another 10 years at
Who
top level. I don't know. He's got another 10 years at top level. So he's got a lot of time to develop. At the minute, he's not ready. Of course he's not. Because like Cedric said, and like Between the Ropes have just said, is the developing fighter. I can see where they're coming from, though. I can, Cole. I can see where they're coming from. He's got talent. But you're right in what you're saying to a point. And that is that he needs to show what he's about against a better level of opponent. You can't chuck him in with a top level opponent because he'll get et up right now because he's not ready for that. Who would you put him in with, Cole, from Between the Ropes?
I'd throw him in with who did Dubois be? What's his name? I forget his name now. Who won that title off?
Come on. No, come on, Cole. I can beat him.
He was shite. Come on, if you can't beat him, he ain't ever doing anything.
No, but that's not a point. That's not a point.
Who was it? Give his name then. Who was it? I forget.
That's not a worthwhile fight. That's not even a worthwhile fight. Okay. Does he beat Dubois? Dubois?
No.
Between the Ropes, does he beat Dubois? I think
what
he should answer it.
With Dubois.
In my opinion, that's a very good.
Look, you can't go through his opponents.
They are both unproven. They are both unproven. Obviously, Dubois has been in with better level opponents, but he's got beat by that world level opponent he's been in with.
He needs to go with someone who's going to give him rounds and who's durable. The promotional company, they're never going to throw him in with Dubois at this stage.
If they think he's capable of beating Dubois, why
Trevor
not?
Bryan, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, Judge.
Come on, guys.
Is that well known now? Obviously, it was that good a fight that it slipped my memory.
Trevor Bryan. I mean, I've said Charles Martin is the worst heavyweight champion of all time. If you class in Trevor Bryan as world champion, and I don't really want to because I don't think he even deserved to have that title. He's got to be the worst of all time. Come on. He shouldn't have even. I mean, I didn't even get a license. Dreadful.
How did Don King get away with not paying for so long, allegedly?
Well, has he paid Dubois yet?
By all accounts, it's all settled up now.
Right. Okay.
So that guy said, I listened to some Americans say comments. It's happened again. Just 1 minute.
You love it when it drops down, don't you, mate?
Yeah. And you can't get it back up. Here we go. I listened to some Americans say comments about Usyk like, have you never a pivot? He's not that special. How do you see Fury versus Usyk going? We'll come back to that Fury Usyk in 1 minute. So Between the Ropes, I don't think we could say both are completely unproven. Both looking good as prospects. Dubois has looked into a regular title shot, hasn't been looked at.
Yeah.
Frank Warren sort of died, didn't it?
Yeah.
Between the Ropes, not saying it's likely. I'm saying I'd like to see it. between the ropes says Brian is a quality Uber driver, though I bet dog shit is a boxer.
Going back to that between the ropes comment, Frank Warren did for Daniel Dubois what Eddie Hearn did for Joshua against Charles Martin. He just basically he bought him the title.
But didn't win the first bit. But didn't win the first bit. Ironically.
Yeah, but he got the fight, didn't he? He handed him the title, didn't he, mate? Come on.
So in terms of Usyk Fury, I've gone on record as saying this. I think Fury beats him. Fury will stop him. Far too big and too skilled as a fighter. Full stop.
There's not many fighters that beat Alexander Usyk, in my opinion. Even at heavyweight. Tyson Fury does though, just because he's not. I don't think Tyson Fury has the same ring IQ as Alexander Usyk, but he's very close to it. I don't think his movement's quite as good as Alexander Usyk, but it's very close to it. And when you add his... Hold on, let me finish. Stop jumping in.
How can you compare movements between two blokes that different size?
Right, so if you let me finish, I'll get to that.
Getting late,
you like you always do. You jump in without letting anyone finish their opinions.
Go on then.
As I was just about to say, but for the size of the guy, you have to say Usyk can't get anywhere near him because of his reach, his height advantage, and the Tyson Fury uses that to the best of his ability. In that when he's against the rope, he'll lean back to make it even further away for fighters to get anywhere near. Yeah, cheers
Fury
that guy.
Will just smash him. Fury will just smash him. Don't give me any of this bullshit about he'll do this, he'll do that. He'll go straight through Usyk, seek and destroy. That's what he'll do.
Maybe.
That's what he'll do. So let's not have this bullshit about what this, that, and the other. It's too big, punches too hard. People said he can't punch. Come on, the size he is.
He isn't going to do to him what he did to Deontay Wilder, because Usyk's got better ring IQ and better boxing movement than that. He isn't just going to walk through him, Carl, like he did in that second fight.
He won't be able to keep Fury off. So
his movement will keep Fury off for a certain time in the fight. If Fury will catch him, Fury will catch up with him, and I do believe Fury stops him because of his size. If we were talking about, okay, this is hypothetical because obviously it's not the case. If we were talking about two fighters that were the same height, then it's a much, much, much closer fight because they're that skillful. The pair of them are that skillful. I do believe Alexander Usyk is pound for pound the best fighter on the planet. But when you've got that much of a size difference, reach difference, height difference, that is a massive game changer. That's my opinion. Fury wins the fight just because of his size and height advantage, because everything else, all the other skills, are very similar.
Fury will dominate him. It'll be a one-sided fight.
Oh, it won't be a one-sided fight. Come on.
He will.
Don't be silly.
He will. It's just too big. And unlike AJ, he can box. So it won't even be a long fight. It won't even be a long fight.
I remember you saying this about Usyk against AJ.
Usyk's a very good fight. AJ can't box.
You weren't saying that in the first
but
before the first fight.
I'm saying that. If AJ uses attributes, he would have beat Usyk. He went in and fought the wrong fight twice, just not good enough.
You just contradicted what you just said.
No, I haven't. I said if he uses attributes, if it a big man him, he'd have beat Usyk. Look how close Del Boy come to doing it.
Yeah, that was an Usyk that wasn't ready for that division, mate.
Fury's just too good. And I think it happens as well because Usyk's got balls the size of coconuts.
Fury's not. It's not that Fury's too good for Usyk. It's he's too big for Usyk because they're as good as each other.
Well, he is too good because his size helps him, don't it, in terms of attributes. So
but he's not too good, is there? Because the skill levels are the same. The skill levels are the same, mate.
But he's bigger than him. So, in terms of winning
so
the
basically,
fight,
you're saying
too
what
good.
I've just said.
He's too big. What's the difference between too big or too good?
That's a completely different thing.
No, it's too good.
He's not too good.
He is.
No, he's not. He's not too good. The skill levels are the same.
But it's not all about skill, is it? The fight game.
No, of course it's not, and that's why he wins.
Or
I've just been saying that. You're just reiterating what I've just said.
Talking riddles again.
No, I'm not.
Too big. He's too big, so he's too good.
No. It's two completely different
fight. Or if
things.
that wasn't the case, the most skilled fighters in boxing would always win fights.
And as I just said, if they were both the same height, it's a much closer fight.
But it's not, is it? So what's the
No,
point of saying
exactly.
that?
Which is why I've said Fury
Because
wins.
Fury's bigger than him. He's too good.
Oh
for
my
him.
God! Did you not listen to what I just said?
Well,
You've just
then what
basically
you're
said
arguing about
exactly
then?
the same
So
thing as me.
Is Fury too good for Usyk? Yes, because he's too big and he won't be able to handle him.
Okay, that's exactly what I just said. But carry on.
You're on about if it was both the same size, but they're not. So what's the point in saying that?
You really don't listen to what I say, do you?
Well, I have, but I just don't understand the difference between being too big or it equates to the same thing. It's
No,
too
you don't,
good,
mate. You
it's gonna
don't
win
equate to the
fight.
same thing. You don't equate to the same thing
It does.
because pound for pound. That's the whole point of the saying pound for pound.
Yeah, but I'm not talking
Because you
about-
might as well say that somebody that's at lightweight enters good or as skillful as someone that's at heavyweight because they're too big.
No, I'm not saying, but they're not fighting each other. We're
That-
talking about
but
his
that's
fight.
not- that's
We're
the whole
talking about
point.
his fight. Who's going to win the fight? And I'm saying Fury's going to beat Usyk in the heavyweight contest. He's too good, but he's too big.
He's not too
So I'm not
good.
talking about a lightweight going to fight in heavyweight, am I?
He's not too good. He's not too good. They're both at the same level, skill-wise. They're both at the same level, Carl. It's all about the size difference.
Fury's better as a heavyweight because he's bigger.
Fury wins the fight because he's bigger, but he's not better skill-wise. He's not better than
So
Usyk.
I'm saying
I'm not wearing that.
I'm saying
I'm not
it's
wearing
a fight, though. It's a fight. It's not all based on skill, is it? It's a fight. And it's all about that W. So Fury's better because he's bigger. It's not all about the skill.
This is just normal, that guy. This is what happens every week between us. But that's the whole point of the show. We've got opinions.
It is what it is. Right, last comments then before I go and get my head down. I'll leave Andy to look at the skilled encyclopedia of boxing.
I don't need to do that, mate, because I know I'm right.
You're not, though. You're just
I am
not.
right. I am.
You're
Because
not.
because they're both at the same
Nonsense.
skill level, mate.
Absolute nonsense.
They're both as good as each other. The reason,
But they're
and,
not
and, I've,
all
and I've
that
gone
good.
through it, and you've said exactly the same thing as me, but you're saying it in a different way.
Tyson
They're as skilled as he. They're as
Fury
skilled.
is a better heavyweight than Alexander Usyk. He's bigger. He's going to beat him.
Of course, he's going to beat him. I've said that though. You're only saying what I've already said.
As good as each other.
They're as good as Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is as skilled as Tyson Fury.
But he's not better.
The reason Tyson Fury wins the fight is because of his size, mate. That's the only reason.
So he's better then because of his size.
No, that's the reason he wins the fight. That don't make him a better
So is he a
fighter.
better fighter than Usyk because he's going to beat him in the ring? As a heavyweight contest, Tyson Fury is better than Usyk.
It's an impossible task for Usyk, isn't it?
Because he's not a
But
better
what's he giving
fighter
away?
Because he's
What's-
not a better fighter than Tyson at heavyweight.
What's he giving away? 7 inches?
Oh, yeah, so he's about 6'2" in 10. Usyk.
And what's Fury? 6'8", 6'9"?
8, 6'9", so 7 inches.
There's your difference, and that's the difference in the fight.
But that makes Fury a better fighter.
It doesn't make him a
heavyweight.
better fighter, mate. It
does,
makes
don't it?
it makes the fight. It puts the fight all on his advantages. If the point I'm trying to make, and I did say it's kind of a pointless. I did say it's kind of a pointless point because they're not the same height. But if they were the same height,
Right.
hypothetically, if they were the same fight, it's a much closer fight.
But let's come back to reality.
Hold on. Let me finish, right? hypothetically, if they were the same height or similar heights, then you put an argument for Usyk winning the fight because they're as skilled as each other. That's what I was saying. But the fact of the matter is, he isn't. Tyson Fury is 7 or 8 inches taller than him, so he wins the fight because of that.
So he's a better heavyweight.
He's not a better.
Well, he is.
He's a better heavyweight. He's not a better fighter. That's what I was saying. He's not a better fighter.
I was saying he's a better heavyweight. If you hear me all the way,
he wins the fight. He wins the fight because of his size.
Because he's a better heavyweight.
He's not a better fighter though, Carl, is he?
I'll say he's better.
On pure skill levels, pound for pound, Usyk's right up there with him, and you know it.
I was saying it's a heavyweight contest,
and he wins the. And I've agreed with you. He wins the fight because of that. We're going around in circles. We're basically saying the same thing, but you're saying it differently. That's all it is. So let's just move on because we must be boring the people in the sidebar.
So now we established that I'm right. Anything else before we bring it to a close?
All hail King Carl.
Just I don't work in hypothetics. So that, you know, if Usyk was 8 foot tall, he might be a better heavyweight, but he's not. So on that note, Andy, I think you better take us out. I've enjoyed tonight.
Jesus Christ.
If Arthur was Martha and all that.
Everybody, thanks so much for your input in the sidebar. Sorry we bored you for the last 5-10 minutes of that.
I'm not sorry. That's what it's all about. Come on.
We have bored them because we both, and they probably sat there laughing, thinking you're saying the same things, guys, because we were. Anyway, thanks to everybody in the sidebar. There's been lots here in the sidebar tonight. It's much appreciated. As you know, this is a show we do after any live fight card on a Saturday night. But our main show is a Thursday at 7 o'clock. So please feel free, everyone that's been on tonight. A few of you don't always come on a Thursday, but please feel free to. 7 o'clock every Thursday. We'll see you next week.